before the topic of the video starts, shout out to Fezana. He is a Fortnite YouTuber who asked for a shout out. He will receive. So link to his channel is in the description down below. However, today we are talking about something not quite so great. About a few months, this happened quite a while ago now, but it was Steve Irwin's birthday. You know Steve Irwin, the absolute Australian hero who bought so much land to build shelters for animals, and also built zoos for the youth to learn about said animals. And it was his birthday. I can't remember the exact date, but I'll put it on the screen here. And as like a commemoration, Google Doodle, the part of Google that designs Google's logo for when they have a special day, you know, how Google, whenever there's a special occasion, they change their logo. Well, for the day, they changed it to this, and it was such a beautiful thing. But you know, PETA is an agency that builds shelters for animals, in theory. However, 99% of their animals get killed within the first year of being there, and only 1% of their animals actually end up being adopted. And PETA supports veganism. Veganism as a whole, I have nothing to worry about. Do not unsubscribe if you are a vegan. If you are a vegan, like by vegan I mean the type of vegan that is not comfortable with eating meat. They just don't like the idea. If you're that type of vegan, that's completely fine. However, there are those vegans who are a part of a cult. Did I steal that joke from Isaac Butterfield? Should I stop leeching from other YouTubers? Yes. But PETA is that type of veganism. And recently, after Google Doodle made that logo, they made this post. I cannot read it because I just can't at the moment. However, it'll be on the screen here. And here's some time to read it. And then here's some time to let out all your rage on the nearest ceramic object. And this tweet alone has made PETA even more hated than what they already were. Isaac Butterfield made a video calling them out. In fact, he made 2 videos because he one day made a video on PETA on something messed up they did before, which I will get into in a minute after I finish this. And then the meme community, they started memeing this topic, which is the most appropriate way for the internet to react to such a tragic event. Whenever something heartbreaking and tragic and traumatizing happens, the internet reacts in the most appropriate and practical way possible, memeing it to shit. Oh dang it, I messed up my phone. But this is not the only thing. I mentioned that PETA did another thing. And here is another thing that they did to try and promote veganism that they pretend to be a part of. I'm having technical difficulties, so I cannot show you the video that I found this. However, I will show a picture. Basically, in this picture, they are saying that eating animal meat is no different to eating human meat. And I must say, no, there is a difference. It's called the food chain. Like, there's a reason that humans eat meat, and that's because we're above those specific animals within the food chain. Do you think that when a lion goes to hunt a gazelle, it stops to think, oh, it's probably morally wrong to eat that? No, it just tears the thing apart. In fact, it tears it alive. So, you know, compared to other animals, we're actually kinda nice. Okay, so I will admit, the PETA employee in this video, which I will put in the description, does bring up one good point. And that is that, about factory farming, which I can also agree is bad, because it puts animals in the worst conditions. And if you ask me, factory farming should be bad. However, there's also free-range farming, where the animals live really happy lives and get well fed before they die. And there's also hunting, which is probably the best way to gain meat, because the life of that animal actually is not influenced by humanity at all until its death. So I do feel like that factory farming should be fixed. Everything that this PETA employee says apart from that, though, no. And here we have PETA employees protesting that porgs from Star Wars are being treated cruelly. Yes, now they are protesting on the behalf of a non-existent species that exists in a virtual universe where you can literally carry stuff around without even touching it. Why? 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 Why is this a thing? If God is watching this, Jesus, if you are watching this, can you please just restart humanity? Can you press the reset button? Please, I'm begging you. And here we have Australian PETA employees protesting. I'd rather go 100% naked than wear Australian wool. And yes, those two women carrying the signs, they are 100% nude. First of all, that is illegal to go 100% naked in public. Second of all, half of my audience is like 11, so I don't want to get age restricted. And third of all, this is one part about veganism I don't get. I get that they don't like meat because like you have to actually kill the animal in order to produce it. I get that. But what's wrong with wool? The wool, a sheep do not get harm when you shave it for its wool. In fact, it gets benefited from because it doesn't get hot, which it definitely needs here because it's hot here in Australia. Have you heard in Australia that story? There was a sheep that went missing for years until it finally came across a human, and it had like huge piles of wool. You can find you can find all its wool in a museum in Canberra. No, not Canberra, Sydney. I can't remember. It's either Canberra or Sydney. I'm pretty sure it's Sydney, but that's not important. What's important is that I'm surprised that sheep did not die from heat stroke. Like, what the heck? And also, once again, this is illegal. I have a young audience. Why did you have to do this to me? And I know I've already talked about this part about PETA, but I'll mention it again, because it's probably the most important part about them. They claim to be vegan pro. They claim to be against killing animals. And yet, like I've said before in the video, probably can't remember if I have or not, but if I have, can't remember, blah blah blah. The most important point is that they kill more animals than all meat producing companies. In fact, 99% of animals in their shelters get mercy killed, and only 1% end up getting adopted. In fact, many of these animals that get killed like almost as soon as they go in. PETA, you absolute hypocrites. This is the type of veganism I have a problem with. Like I said before, if you're a vegan that just doesn't want to eat meat or use animal products, that's your choice, and I'm completely fine with that, because I believe everyone is entitled to their choice. However, I have a problem with the vegans that are a part of a cult and force veganism down your throat. Dang it. This is the problem of being broke. You have to use wired headphones. I want AirPods. Anyway. But when a veganism is part of a cult, which PETA most certainly is, they force it down your throat, like PETA does always on Twitter. I'd show you more images other than one on Steve Irwin. However, if I feel like I do that, PETA will get angry at me and use legal charges. But Kyle, you're a 14-year-old. Exactly. Exactly, because PETA is a part of a cult. They do not care. They will do anything to silence the haters. The haters. But anyway, sorry that this video was short, but before you go, here's a joke. How do you tell? By the way, if you're a good vegan, the vegan who I approve of, do not get offended by this. This is just a joke. But here's a good joke for you. How do you tell if a vegan is a vegan? They'll tell ya before they tell you anything else about them.